I am Whitney, a spry 67-year-old. A few years ago, my husband, who was a lawyer, passed away in an accident, and now I'm living alone. I have one son, but he got married and moved out. His name is Timothy. He's 35 years old. He works at a civil engineering firm, and currently, due to his job in a rural area, he resides in a rental apartment nearby with his wife. His wife, Brittany, is 33 years old. Timothy and she met at their workplace where they were colleagues, grew close, and after a period of dating, they got married 3 years ago. Given their jobs entail long business trips, they have decided to hold off on having children for now, so they don't have any yet. As for me, I'm eager to see my grandchildren, but I understand Timothy has his plans, so I'm patient. Currently, I am not employed, but thanks to my late husband's life insurance, accident insurance, and inheritance, I am living comfortably. I believe I am in good health for now, but recently I have started feeling the weakening of my legs and hips, and living alone has begun to feel a bit unsettling. One day, Timothy called to say he would visit. I was looking forward to it, since it had been a while since he said something like that. Then, Timothy came over with Brittany. "Mom, long time no see. Have you been well?" "Whitney, it's been a while. Have you changed at all?" They had mentioned they had some news to share, which had me secretly hoping, could it be that they're having a baby? "Well, the project I am on is nearing completion, and it has been decided that I'll be working at the headquarters after this." "Oh, does that mean you're moving back here?" "Yeah, my job will be more administrative from now on, so I shouldn't have to work on site anymore." "That's good news. The headquarters is in the city, right? If you won't be going to sites anymore, how about buying a house somewhere?" "Actually, Brittany suggested something. We were thinking, why not move in and live here with you?" "That's right. Since Whitney is alone now, and considering your age is becoming a concern, we thought we could take care of you if we lived together, if necessary." "Really? I still feel quite energetic, you know. But it's uncertain what might happen, and living alone at your age is indeed concerning." "Well, I do feel uneasy about living alone at times. But isn't this house too old to accommodate all of us?" "This house was built by my husband and has been standing for 30 years as a 2-story home. It even boasts a reasonably spacious backyard. The first floor houses the kitchen, a bathroom, and a toilet. There's a living room and 3 bedrooms. The second floor consists of a room my husband used as the study, and another room we used as our bedroom. I guess if Timothy and his wife moved in, they'd occupy the first floor, and I'd take the second? I have a suggestion." Brittany leaned in with excitement. "How about we do some renovations?" "Renovations?" "Yeah, this house was built during the dot-com bubble area. It's made of good materials and is pretty solid. It'd be a waste to tear it down. That's why Brittany thinks we should renovate and live together." "Well, speaking of that..." Brittany hesitated a bit. "Would you mind covering the costs?" "The costs?" "Yes, we got a quick estimate before coming here. We'll make the first floor barrier-free. The kitchen will be updated and integrated with the living room, turning it into an open-concept kitchen. We'll also revamp the bathroom and toilet with the latest fittings. For the second floor, we'll add a spacious balcony and turn it into a sunroom. We'll stay on the second floor and create a room on the first floor for Whitney. Stairs can be tough for seniors, and having a nearby toilet is a plus, right? All in all, the budget is around $120,000. Brittany explained rapidly. She seemed quite passionate about this plan. "If you agree to this plan, we can live together, and I'll also help care for you in the future." Timothy chimed in. "Well, we have some savings, but thinking of future expenses, maybe kids and such, we'd like to save where we can. It doesn't sound like a bad deal, does it?" "Hold on a minute. This is all so sudden. Do you really expect me to just say yes right away?" "Well, for now, we just came to discuss it. If you can manage the money, we'll take care of all the tough stuff." "Whitney, this is a win-win for all of us. Please consider it positively. We really hope you'll think it over." To be honest, I thought Timothy and his wife's proposal was reasonable. However, there was something off about Brittany's words. If you provide the money, we'll move in and also provide care. I wondered, is this a give me money and I'll take care of you kind of deal? Of course, resolving my current home's issues sound great, but there's something I just can't get behind. At the time, I honestly didn't think too much about the whole ordeal. Later, Timothy and his wife finished their jobs in the countryside and moved to a rental apartment near their parents' house. Now that they lived closer, Brittany started visiting more frequently. She kept bringing up the topic of the home renovation. I started to feel that it might not be such a bad idea, but Brittany seemed a bit too pushy for my taste. In response to my non-committal stance, she would get annoyed and say things like, "Whitney, why won't you approve of this? It's a good deal for you too." And, "These days, you won't find many daughter-in-laws willing to live with their in-laws, but I am. I'm even offering to take care of you. You won't find anyone else like me." Her approach felt almost threatening, and it was genuinely unsettling. When I asked her why she was so desperate, she glared at me and snapped. "Desperate? Don't you realize this is all for you, Whitney? We're talking about securing your retirement with $120,000. That's not a small amount." I found Brittany's attitude quite off-putting. Timothy, instead of intervening, asked me to listen to her, saying, "Mom, we're trying to help. Please, just listen to what Brittany has to say." I was completely taken aback. Thankfully, thanks to my husband, we were financially comfortable, and I always planned to leave some inheritance to Timothy. Everything should work out. If Brittany could genuinely care for us in our old age, perhaps I wouldn't have to think about costs like retirement communities. I began to think that maybe, just maybe, Brittany's plan was a win-win, as she put it. So I agreed and let Timothy know. "Great! We'll start making arrangements. Please prepare the money." I liquidated some of my assets and transferred the funds to Timothy's account. We then officially contracted a construction company and requested designs. Later, we were told that the blueprint was ready and went to see it with Timothy and Brittany. That day, Brittany seemed in a good mood, far from the person who had yelled at me. I've never really looked at blueprints before, so I couldn't understand most of it, but they showed me the layout. The biggest changes were in the plumbing, with significant alterations to the bathroom, toilet, and kitchen. The first floor mainly consisted of a garage and a Western-style room. I noticed a small room connected to the garage. "What's this? It looks too small for a room. A storage or closet, perhaps?" "Brittany, what's this room for?" "Oh, that? It's like a spare room or storage, something we thought might be useful in the future." "For a child, perhaps?" "Well, something like that." She responded ambiguously. Her demeanor hinted at ulterior motives. Timothy, who's always been quiet, didn't interject much. I've never seen him be so subservient to anyone. I felt something was off, but I thought this is between Timothy and his wife, so I didn't push it any further. Then the construction finally began. I moved to an apartment complex the contractor had recommended. The complex had 8 units and 1 building, and my place was on the 2nd floor at the corner. Knowing the importance of good neighbor relations, I went to greet everyone. To my surprise, many were younger, and they all greeted me back warmly. My neighbor was a single mom named Serena. Her daughter was Irma, an adorable 5-year-old girl. Serena had lost her husband in an accident and had no relatives to rely on, raising Irma all by herself. However, she was so cheerful, and Irma quickly took a liking to me. Occasionally, I'd share some of my meals with them, gave treats to Irma, or babysat her when Serena was running late. Timothy and his wife, who'd visit once in a while, became quite fond of Irma, saying, "Kids are just so precious. Maybe we should think about having one soon." One day, while enjoying tea with Serena, who had a day off, she seemed hesitant and began, "Don't take this the wrong way, okay?" "What's up? You sound so serious." "While I was cleaning a hotel room the other day, I saw Brittany, and she was with a man I didn't recognize." I almost spat out my tea in surprise. Are you serious? Yeah, I've seen her many times, so I'm sure it was her. She was in quite flashy clothing, and the man was in a suit. Can you maybe find out more about this? I mean, I'm just part-time. Plus, there's the matter of compliance. Compliant? It means following rules and regulations. Essentially, as a hotel, we have rules to protect our guests' privacy. I see. Things have become so strict nowadays. But we need to address this Brittany situation. Right. I pondered for a moment. First, we need to gather evidence. I have an idea. I'll reach out for help. I'm sorry, maybe I shouldn't have said anything. No, I should be thanking you. Thank you. I reached out to a private investigator my husband knew and asked him to look into Brittany's activities. Given Timothy's odd behavior, I asked them to investigate that as well. Brittany, being a housewife, had a lot of free time when Timothy was at work. I wondered, what was she doing during those hours? I decided to wait for the results from the detective agency. The renovation of my childhood home is going smoothly. Brittany kept finding reasons to go out, like, I'm going to check on the renovation's progress, or I'll buy some treats for the Carpenters. However, when I asked the Carpenters, most said that Brittany rarely showed up. She was probably using these excuses to see her lover. In the meantime, the detective agency was making progress. Turns out, Brittany's lover was a high school classmate. Apparently, he was an ex-boyfriend she reconnected with at a reunion last year. They gathered quite a few photos and recordings, so I had plenty of evidence. One day, when Timothy and his wife visited, I set a little trap. By the way, Timothy, isn't it the 20th anniversary of our middle school graduation? Is there a reunion? Really? I thought it was for high school. Suddenly, there was a loud noise, and Brittany was holding her leg in pain. What happened? Brittany, are you okay? I got distracted and hit my head on the table leg. Oh dear, be careful. So, the 20th anniversary is for high school? Yes, I'm organizing it, so I'm sure. I wish it was for middle school. I would have seen my old flame, Clementina. This time, an even louder noise followed. Oh my, Brittany, again? What happened now? Ouch, I'm sorry, I bumped my head. Maybe I'm just naturally clumsy. Mom's talking nonsense again. Clementina is now a mother of 2. Why do you keep saying stuff like that? Oh, really? Sorry about that. Brittany seems to react noticeably whenever reunion is mentioned. Observing her behavior, it's clear she's having an affair. Finally, the renovation was complete. The exterior had new siding, the roof was now solar paneled, and at a glance, it looked like a brand new house. The heavy front door was replaced with a lighter one. Inside, there was no trace of the old home. The bathroom was now spacious and clean, but the most transformed space was the kitchen. It had an induction cooktop and a dishwasher. Brittany was over the moon. I wondered if one of the rooms on the ground floor would be mine. The scent of new wallpaper felt comforting. Soon, the moving in of stored belongings would begin. I began packing up my apartment in preparation for the move. I said my goodbyes to neighbors Serena and Irma. Irma shed some tears, but she gave a small smile when I told her she could visit with her mom sometime. Then came the following Sunday. Before the move-in, I cleaned each room and considered the arrangement of electronics and furniture. Both Timothy and Brittany made decisions without consulting me, constantly sidelining my opinions. Feeling increasingly ignored, I finally raised my voice. Where should I put my stuff? Sure enough, hearing my voice, the two of them approached. Hey, this isn't Whitney's room, you know. Wait, what? I thought I was on the first floor. Where's my room? I'd prefer this one. What are you talking about? Your room isn't here either. The one we set aside for Whitney is over there. Pointing in the direction, I realized it was that mysterious room. Isn't that just a storage room? Just be grateful we provided a room at all. That's your room, Whitney. It's about 500 square feet, so it's spacious enough. What? There's no way I'm living in a storage closet. I raised my voice in frustration towards Brittany. Timothy, are you seriously going to trap me in there too? Well, yeah, looks that way. Timothy seemed genuinely sorry. So, this was your plan all along, huh? Don't like it? Feel free to leave. If you don't want to live with us, there's nothing we can do, right? Brittany started laughing loudly, while Timothy looked down in silence. Just then, a voice echoed from the front door. Right on time. Hello there, I'm Attorney Galton. Is Whitney around? I checked the time, and he was right on schedule. It's been a while. Your late husband was a great help to me. We're in the middle of moving, but we appreciate your guidance. Let's get straight to business, shall we? It seems everyone's here. Yes, please, come this way. As I led Galton and his assistant into the room, Brittany and Timothy looked completely taken aback. Galton began explaining. First, regarding Timothy's debts, or rather his loans, they were recently settled by a third party. Here are the related documents. Meaning, I had paid off Timothy's debts on his behalf. Wait, what is this? Mom, why did you... I found out about the debt from your failed investment. It was initially covered by Brittany's parents, but I've taken care of it. They were okay with the arrangement. Mom, you knew about this? Now you don't need to hold back anymore. Speak your mind. Mom, I'm sorry. Thank you. We'll talk about this later. That was just a small thing. Now, on to the main topic. Main topic? Timothy looked confused. From our conversation so far, Brittany was already sweating bullets. Whitney, I'm the victim here. My husband lost our money in a bad investment, and my parents had to cover up the debt. She started defending herself, even though I hadn't said anything. So, you've been manipulating Timothy, right? I mean, Timothy did wrong, but you've been up to something even worse, haven't you? What are you talking about? I've done nothing. As she said this, her face turned pale. Galton continued the discussion. So, let's get to the point. Brittany, you're having an affair with an old flame from high school. What? Timothy looked at Brittany, his face full of shock. No, it's not serious. It's just a fling. Timothy is the only one I truly love. I swear. Well, we're just presenting objective facts here. Even if you say you only love your husband, it doesn't matter to the fact. We're just reporting based on our findings. The investigator then pulled out some photos and played a voice recording. Timothy's just my ATM. I'm just using him until I can be with you. Where did they record that? They're really thorough. That was just the beginning of the recording. I tricked that idiot and his parents to renovate their house. First, I'll kick out his mother, have a friend seduce my husband to catch him cheating, then divorce him. That way, I'll get the alimony and the house to pay off my parents' debt. Then I'll marry you. Smart, right? You're still bad news. I heard you had changed. I'm just so in love with you. I want to be with you soon. There was more, but that was enough. The photos showed the two of them entering a hotel, embracing in a car's shadow, and engaging in compromising actions, both inside and outside the hotel. Brittany slouched, looking defeated. It was impossible to argue against such strong evidence. We apologize for the inconvenience. I bowed deeply, impressed by the detective agencies and Galton's work. We're at your service. Timothy, if you wish, we can help with the divorce papers, alimony, and property division. Thank you for your hard work. Brittany, her position completely compromised, left the house, leaving Timothy behind. Timothy was visibly shaken, but it was clear their marriage was over. He requested to start the divorce proceedings right there and then. Later, the law firm reached out, and a meeting took place with Brittany, her parents-in-law, the man she cheated with, and his wife. It turns out Brittany's affair partner was an old boyfriend. They reconnected at a reunion, and the sparks reignited. It was supposed to be a one-night stand, but after his transfer back to town, they continued the affair. He was married and had a child, but this led to their divorce. Our Timothy finalized his divorce and received a significant amount in alimony. Brittany's parents paid for it, making their daughter and her boyfriend repay them as a debt. Both Brittany and her boyfriend were disowned by their families. The two now work and live at a remote hotel, barely getting by, repaying their debt. Sometime later, our next-door neighbor Serena visited with Irma. Irma's kindergarten was nearby, and they were on their way home. Irma was very fond of Timothy, so I told them to visit any time. After several visits, Timothy and Serena grew close and eventually married. Relationships can be unexpected. Now in this house, Timothy has a new wife and an instant elementary-aged granddaughter. Irma calls Timothy Dad, and me Grandma. We cherish her as if she's our real granddaughter. Timothy and his wife live harmoniously. I cherish these happy moments.